Welcome to another edition of the Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats. I'm your host, Earl Basden, and joining me yet again is Jason Juggling J Ford. Jay, we're in the second semifinal night of the World Rugby Classic. It's expected to be another exciting night. Just looking at the Classic itself and the many other sports that will be going on this holiday weekend coming up, starting tomorrow. Your thoughts on just sports, how it's been going thus far?
Well, Earl, a lot of times in our seasons we have these shorter seasons. Obviously with football just starting up, cricket finishing, but this classic always brings an extra activity or extra excitement around this time of the year.
Well, let's get the report from last night's first semifinal. Day 3 of the 2016 Bermuda World Rugby Classic, which was played under the lights, saw a total of 38 points scored in a doubleheader. In the plate semi-final, Canada defeated Italy 17-0. Canada advanced to the final in a bad-tempered affair. Several off-the-ball scuffles included punches thrown in a few exchanges that did not damper the performance of Canada. Canada opened the scoring with 18:30 remaining on the clock in the first half. Mitch Grundon went over for a try. The conversion was missed, leaving the score at 5-0. Josh Campbell then doubled the lead with 7:20 remaining. He finished off a break that saw Sean Mercer run from the halfway line but was caught by two Italian defenders before he offloaded to Campbell, who went over for the try. While a mini melee ensued on the halfway line, Campbell broke away from the pack in the second half and ran unchallenged to score his second try and Canada's third of the game. And when Robin McDowell kicked the conversion, it earned Canada the 17-0 win. In the Classic semi-final, the defending champions, Classic Lions, fell behind early and never recovered as South Africa advanced to the World Rugby Classic final with a 14-7 win. Brian Vermaak put South Africa on the board 4 minutes into the contest, with Reinhard Gerber adding the conversion. Delray Dupreez would go over then for a try with 10 minutes gone, extending South Africa's lead to 12-0, and when Gerber added the conversion, it moved it to 14-0. The Classic Lions would manage to get on the board when Spencer Brown went over, and with the conversion made, it made the score 14-7, but South Africa stood tall and refused to let the defending champions get close again, thus advancing to the final. Meanwhile, the Ariel Ree Primary School Coaching Clinic, in cooperation with the Bermuda World Rugby Classic, took place at the National Sports Center South Field. 10 primary schools were in attendance, getting tips from USA and Canada Classic rugby teams. Meanwhile, Bermuda will compete in the annual 2016 RAN Sevens that will take place November 12th through the 13th in Trinidad and Tobago. The tournament will feature both men's and women's national teams from Bermuda. We brought you the women's team in a previous broadcast, so today we bring you the men's team who face Canada and British Virgin Islands. The men's team will see Tashan De Silva, Aldo Campbell, Summers Bruin, Bertie Horsfield, Patrick Callow, Tom Healy, Dan Cole, Andre Landy, Neville Zool, Antonio Parentchief, Jacques de Verly, and Corey Boyce. Local welterweight champion boxer Nikki Bascom is getting set to enter the ring again for the Takeover Fight Night event, thanks in part to sponsorship from Gorham's. The home improvement store currently is in its 80th year, and it's the lead sponsor for Bascom's upcoming fight on December 3rd inside the Barclay Institute Gymnasium. To prepare, the fighter will be leaving the island on September 12th to take part in an intensive camp in Orlando, Florida, under the supervision of veteran coach Alan Fortirigo. Bascom is quoted as saying, "This upcoming fight means a lot because it's a stepping stone for me to get to the next level in my career, and also provides an avenue for people coming behind me who want to pursue the sport." He goes on to say the local boxing scene hasn't really been as active as it used to be, but with this fight, it will give me an even greater platform to motivate other young kids to get involved. Although I haven't had a fight in almost a year, I'm excited about getting some fresh experience in the ring and grateful to Gorms for helping me make this possible. They're a great company that wants to see our local talent progress, so I'm happy and honored to be able to have that backing. Well, Jay, over in Montego Bay, Jamaica, we have several youngsters taking part in the ITF Junior Tournament, such as Kayla Ming, Luke Sterling, and Tariq Simons, as well as David Leader. These youngsters have been playing their trade for some time in Bermuda and now are venturing into the international field for the juniors. And lo and behold, two of them have earned their first ITF junior points.
Earl, that's one of the things that the association's been working on probably many years now, is to get our kids out of the island to play against some other opposition and to start getting some points. I mean, eventually, you've been a sportsman once upon a time. It gets sort of monotonous playing against the same old people, and to see where you stand with your competition around the Caribbean, around your age limit, you need to get off the island and get into these competitions.
Bermuda youngsters have taken to the courts participating in the Montego Bay Junior ITF Tennis Championships in Jamaica. Luke Sterling, David Leader, and Kayla Ming were all flying the Bermuda flag in the singles, while Tariq Simons, who now resides in Jamaica, took to the courts in the doubles main draw. Unfortunately, Leader went down in his qualifying match in straight sets 6-3, 6-1 to Rota Kenda from Japan. Luke Sterling advanced in the main draw as a lucky loser. Sterling won his first qualifying match after holding a 5-0 lead against Jonathan Zachary from USA, who later retired. Sterling, in his second qualifying match, went down in straight set 6-2, 6-4 to Luis Andres Platas from Mexico, but he advanced to the main draw. Sterling won his first round match against Robert Hayden from Barbados in straight set 7-5, 6-2. Ming also would go through to the qualifying draw, but she needed 3 sets to advance, winning 7-6, 6-3, 6-1 against Olivia Sims from Jamaica. In her main draw first round match, Ming defeated Haley McNair from Jamaica 7-5, 6-4. Both Sterling and Ming have now earned their first ITF Junior Circuit singles points. In doubles, Simmons teamed up with Francis von Amer from Germany, and they went down in straight sets to Callaway Clark and Elliot Spreezer from USA 6-1, 6-2. Sterling and Luis Andreas Platas from Mexico went down in a 3-set battle 6-3, 4-6, 10-8 to Toi Kopashi and Shotaro Mazeki from Japan.
Bermuda, listen up. D-Music is here exclusively for Digicel customers. Open up a world of music at your fingertips and access millions of songs from free. With D-Music, you can easily search for your favorite artists and create playlists to fit your lifestyle. Plus, you have the option to download music to your device so you can find a song for any moment, even when offline. D-Music comes with 1 gig of free data to stream and download songs without it impacting your data usage. That's 32 hours worth of music. Visit us in-store or online to see how you can get D-Music today.
As we come down to National Signing Day for athletes, Islandstats can confirm that Bermuda's Janai Parent-Chief has selected the University of Arkansas. Parent-Chief is quoted as saying, "To every school that recruited me and athletes who were great people, thank you very much, but I feel this is the best place for me to pursue my dreams." He goes on to say, "Proud to say I'm going to be a Razorback." Iowa-based Parent-Chief, who has taken the high jump world by storm, jointly tops the 2016 World Under-20 list with a 2.26-meter lifetime best leap. The year started off with Parent-Chief representing Iowa Central Community College at the Minnesota State Alumni Open Indoor Track Meet. Parent-Chief won the men's high jump with a top leap of 2.16 meters. Parent-Chief was one of 3 Iowa Central students to set new school records during the Iowa Duels hosted by the University of Iowa. Parent-Chief set a new school record on his way to winning the men's triple jump with a top leap of 14.51 meters. On Sunday, April 17th, 2016, at the Wichita State K.T. Woodman Outdoor Classic, Parent-Chief broke the Bermuda Junior National record, which was held by Clarence Nicky Saunders, height of 2.22 meters, set back in 1981. Parent-Chief in this competition would record a personal best on his way to winning the men's high jump with that 2.26 meter leap. Parent Chief reached the final of the high jump at the IAAF World Under-20 Championships in Poland. Parent Chief was also named the regional USTF CCCA Men's Field Athlete of the Year. Well, they say you have to have nerve to be with the AC-45s, and Team Oracle learned the hard way, or almost learned the hard way, in the Great Sound when they almost capsized earlier this week. Let's hear how it all unfolded.
It was blowing 22 to 25 knots. The wind limit for us is 25 knots. We did a bear away, sitting in the bear away in 42, 43 knots. We got stable out of the bear away, and then we had a bit of a moment. We got hit by a big gust and a lot of heel. In that moment, when you have a big nosedive in a catamaran, your natural reaction is to let the wing sheet go and ease the sails, but it's actually the worst thing you can do. And Tom Johnson did a great job. He called for the grinders to grind the wing back in and stall the wing. And we ended up saving a capsize and really pushing the limits, seeing what we can do in these boats.
Nice one, TJ. Oh, it wasn't all me, man. It was everyone. Everybody. It was all you, man. It took a team effort to get the boat to not capsize.
Well, Jay, it was back in September we were talking about the fact that Dowray Rollins was about to sign a contract for Sussex. It became official when he returned back to the UK following his time with the Bermuda national team. Your thoughts on a youngster like Dowray, who's now got something that a lot of other youngsters want, a professional contract in a sport of his love?
Well, first, Dowray has shown the commitment to know what he has wanted for a long time. Dowray has the support. He's had the support his whole career. So if you merge those two together with some good networking via BCB and some folks around BCB, we just led him to the Eats, we just led him to the UK, led him to the training. He is where he is now. And that's just the first step. I think with Dowray's temperament, and we've seen his game flourish probably the last 3 years. Just remember him playing for PAC a few years ago. It feels like a few years ago, but now if you look, that's probably about 3 years, maybe 4 years ago. Yeah, so, and to see where his game is now, man, it is leaps and bounds. So it only bodes well, but not only just for Dowray, but we talked about on our last show, it's the youngster that comes behind Dowray. That he knows Dowray, or Dowray's cousin, or Dowray's cousin's cousin. You know, and they start thinking about, you know, if Dowray could do it because he played tennis ball cricket with me in the backyard, then he gets the confidence. Once again, he gets the support, he gets the commitment bug. We hook him up with some networking, and then he's off and running. So that's what we want to continue here on the island.
Well, it's interesting you said the Bermuda Cricket Board, because come next week, they'll be holding their annual general meeting, and there's some things that we need to sort out. We talked about it in the last show. Domestic cricket, international cricket, just things we need to get on top of, and it is all going to start next week. Some of the things you're hoping that the clubs and the Bermuda Cricket Board can put together to move the sport forward, because it's going to be a collaborative effort.
Well, once again, it starts with a plan. We have to have a plan, and all the stakeholders have to be involved in this plan. It just can't come from one sector putting this plan, initiating this plan, and trying to get everybody to work with the plan. I think all the stakeholders need to come to the table and produce this plan. And not just a plan, not just a short-term plan, but we're going to need like a 5-year plan. Because once again, we talked about the next time we might be able to qualify is in 2 years. Okay, let's look at the time after that. Because worst case scenario, what happens with the worst case scenario? We need to have that plan in place now, because if we're looking at our U17s and U19s, that's where they're going to be in 5 years' time. So that's what we're looking at. So we need to start with those teams now, because we have to start targeting them. And we've seen that in many other countries. Take, for instance, Jamaica with track and field. They had this 10-year plan. They target the kids at a very early age and said, this Olympics, we want to have X amount. So we just need this plan, but we need all the stakeholders at the table. And not just ex-players, players, parents, former cricketers. I think we need all the stakeholders, because once again, we're all going to be proud once our boys out there, they're representing us.
One thing they will say they have a plan, and they have a strategic plan on their site. But one thing it's how's the plan working? How are we reaching the goals? Who's actually grading them on the performance? And that will again start next week at the AGM. And the report card has to be given on how long this plan's been in place and where are we at with it.
The other thing is accountability. You just said it. I mean, so let's think about it. You put a plan in place and, okay, we're going down the wrong road. Do we continue going down this wrong road? You know, when do we pull the handbrake and say, you know what, no, we need to try another road? So I think these are the things that obviously we're not privy to because we're not in these conversations. We get it after the fact. But we hope these things are being considered. And hopefully we can come up with a strategic plan, not just for short term, but for long term.
Upon his arrival back to the UK, Sussex Cricket have announced as part of a squad update that young all-rounder Dowray Rollins has officially signed a first professional contract at the First Central County Ground. Back on September 29th, Islandstats reported that Bermuda International Rollins was presented with a pro contract by Sussex. The 19-year-old, who has progressed through the academy system at Hove, has put pen to paper on a deal to make it official that will see him join the professional squad until at least the end of next season. A left-hand batsman and slow left-arm bowler, Rollins has played for Sussex second 11 over the past 2 seasons whilst completing his education at St. Bede's School and scored an unbeaten century in the final second 11 match of 2016, hitting 117 against Durham.
Open up a world of music at your fingertips and access millions of songs from free with D-Music, exclusively from Digicel. With D-Music, you can stream and download songs and create playlists of your favorite artists to fit your lifestyle. Whether you're working out at the gym, getting ready for a Friday night, or just chilling at home, D-Music comes with 1 gig of free data to stream and download songs without it impacting your data usage. That's 32 hours worth of music. Visit us in-store or online to see how you can get D-Music today.
Bermuda Olympian Roy Allen Birch has now had a few weeks under his belt as the Lake Norman Charter School head swimming coach. We decided to ask Birch a few questions. First question was, now that you have had a week or so training with the Lake Norman Charter School swimming team, what are your early thoughts about expectations for the season? Birch is quoted as saying, the season as a whole I expect to be successful, and I'm taking many different measures to make sure everyone is able to be successful within the program. I no longer like to measure successes with just wins and losses, as it is one-dimensional and rarely measures in totality of the athlete. The second question was, with only about a week to go before your first competition, what are some of the things you will be asking the swimmers to work on in preparation for the meet? And Birch is quoted as saying, I'm going to challenge them in different ways and do my best to prepare them for competition. The first competition will be an excellent measure of what has worked and what I need to implement going forward. Another question was, with the challenge of qualification times for major festivals, how important is it that young swimmers concentrate on the details in order to become world class? Birch is saying, this is a foundation for my swimmers to become world-class students. We don't have the kind of time in and out of the water to fully develop a world-class swimmer, but the interest can be developed. I can help them understand their relationship with the water and cultivate their strengths by eliminating some weaknesses. I find myself harping on effort, concentration, and integrity of the details. Their effort during the workouts is most important. With strong work ethic in training, I can take them into race mode and release them of the fear to race. I can remind them of what they have done and what they are capable of. It then translates to good evaluation and, in turn, making more progress. I then asked them, from your experiences in the sport, both good and bad, what message have you, in your short time at Lake Norman Charter School, been able to get across to the students? Birch is quoted as saying, I can identify very well with these student athletes. I was told many things before walking on the deck and working with them. I freed myself of that, as I would not want to be judged before I am met. I wanted to give them a fresh start with their swimming, and in turn it gives me a fresh start in what I can expect from them. That allows me to hold them accountable for their results, and they can hold themselves accountable. On Tuesday night over in the UK, Jair Parfitt-Williams made a goal-scoring return to the West Ham Premier League Division 2 team, as well as the Bermuda Football Association have announced the venues for the Shield and Friendship, as well as 3 Bermudians were named to first-team All-Star honors. Jair Parfitt-Williams made a starting return to the West Ham United's Premier League 2 team lineup in their match against Northampton Town. After being down 1-0 in the 40th minute, West Ham United were level. Parfitt-Williams collected a clever damn-can't pass and smashed a shot past the keeper with a little help from the crossbar. In the 60th minute, Parfitt-Williams got a warm reception from the home crowd as he was replaced by Joe Powell. The match ended 1-1 with West Ham winning on kicks from the penalty mark.
It's going to be Harry Buterman with the first penalty in front of the travelling West Ham supporters. Up against Spiegel. Buterman off the crossbar and over the stand. First penalty missed. Marcus Brown, West Ham's first penalty taker. It's Brown. It's saved by David Cornell. David Cornell guessing the right way, making a good save away to his left-hand side. Second penalty. That's scored by Alfie Potter. Defender Alex Pike will take West Ham's second penalty. Can he level things up in the shootout? Pike converts his spot kick. He went the same way as Marcus Brown. Joel Byram. Scores. Alfie Lewis now. Looking to make it 2-2 in the penalty shootout. Cornell has guessed the right way both times so far. And he got a hand to that, David Cornell, but he couldn't keep it out. Sanupe blasts it over. A really poor penalty from the Northampton player. West Ham's fourth penalty. This for a chance to take the lead. 3-2. Dan Kemp scores. Well, Raphael Spiegel was the penalty hero in West Ham's last shootout. At the end of that, they won the Premier League Cup last season. It's O'Toole. It's over. West Ham are winners.
The Bermuda Football Association have released the venues for the Shield and Friendship matches. On Sunday, November 13th, in Shield action at Police Field, it will be Paget versus Crossroads. At the BAA Field, it will be Southampton Rangers versus Hamilton Parish. And in the Friendship preliminary matches on Sunday, at the BAA Field, it will see Robin Hood take on Somerset Eagles, and Boulevard Blazers will host the Somerset Trojans at the Police Field. On Saturday, December 17th, in Shield quarterfinal action at BAA Field, it will be BAA taking on Wolves, and in the Friendship quarterfinal, Flanagan's Onions will host PHC Zebras. On Sunday, December 18th, in Shield quarterfinal action, St. David's will host Ireland Rangers at Lord's. The winners out of Paget and Crossroads will take on Young Men's Social Club either at Garrison Field or at Southampton Oval. St. George's Colts will host the winners of Southampton Rangers and Hamilton Parish. In Friendship quarterfinal action, it'll be the winners out of Robin Hood and Somerset Eagles hosting Devonshire Cougars either at BAA Field or White Hill Field. North Village Rams are at home to Devonshire Colts at Bernard Park, while the Dendy Town Hornets will host the winners out of Boulevard Blazers and Somerset Trojans at St. John's Field. Meanwhile, the North Atlantic Conference has announced their all-conference teams with 3 Bermuda Thomas College players named to the All-NAC first team. Bermuda players Willie Clemens, London Steve Jackson, and Zion Robinson were named to the first team, while their coach, Chris Parsons, has been named Coach of the Year. Clemens controlled the Thomas College midfield in 2016, and he has led the NAC in total assists with 12 and chipped in with 2 goals. Clemens ranked 6th in NCAA Division III for total assists and 4th in the assist per game at 0.80. Steve Jackson has had his best year for Thomas College as a senior captain, amassing 8 goals and 6 assists for 22 points. In a game against Green Mountain this season, he scored 4 goals in the first half en route to a 10-0 victory. Robinson was a lockdown defender this season for Thomas College as he started and played in all 16 games. He led the defense in shutting down top scorers, holding teams to 0.78 goals per game. Rakai Binns set a new Bermuda record in bowling just last week, just prior to the start of the Bermuda 10-Pin Classic in TBI Men's Classic bowling at the Warwick Lanes. Jay, you've spent some time up at the lanes to bowl a 829. Average got to be 279 of that range, but to bowl that, the concentration level needed and a bit of luck.
Yeah, most definitely. And you just said it, and a bit of luck. Many folks have tried, and many folks have failed. We can go back for all the veteran bowlers we know throughout the years. It's still just a handful of them with the 800 series. If you go up to the Warwick Bowling Alley, you'll see their actual faces on the wall. It's not that many. The good thing is, over the last 5 years, you're seeing a crop of the youngsters who have been ruling these 800s. The likes of Samuels, Matthews, Maycock, now Binns. These guys have been bowling against each other for a little while now. They grew up together, so you could see that competition amongst each other is helping everybody's game. And like you said, knowing the lanes, these guys, every one of these guys I've been talking about, they have all basically they was born in the bowl, really. Right. So they know the ins and outs of the lanes, ins and outs of the conditions, but still, you still need that luck.
Well, let's get the numbers, plus the fact that Binns will be joined by several others heading to South Africa and Reno, Nevada. Prior to the start of the 10-Pin Bowling Classic, Rakai Binns set a new Bermuda record when he bowled a 829 series in the TBI Men's Classic Bowling League at the Warwick Lanes. This record beats the Bermudian record and the Warwick Lanes record. An 800 series requires a player to bowl a minimum of 266 or more in each of the 3 games. Binns bowled an average of 279 with games of 266, 276, and 287. The previous Bermuda record was held by Dean Lightbourne, who bowled a 227 in an international competition in St. Louis. Binns also moved ahead of previous Warwick Lanes record holder Kevin Swan of 819. Binns, a member of the Gosling's Black Seal Rum team for 2 years, now tops the list of a group of 800 series local bowlers playing in league or tournament at the Warwick Lanes. Other members of the elite group include Levin Samuels, who bowled at 815, David Maycock at 813, Lamar Richardson, 813, and Damon Matthews of 811. Following the conclusion of the Bermuda 10-Pin Bowling Championships, Binns, along with Maycock, Patrice Tucker, and June Dill, have turned their attentions to international competition as they head to the Commonwealth 10-Pin Bowling Championships in Johannesburg, South Africa, which will get underway November 19th through to the 25th. Binns and Maycock will waste very little time reflecting on the South Africa competition as they will head to the PBA World Series of Bowling 8th at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. They will be joined by Jermaine De Silva and Levince Samuels. Kamiko Smith took to the golf course in the U.S. to take part in a regional qualifying tournament. Let's see how he made out in the qualifiers. Kamiko Smith took to the Chatham Island golf course to compete in the RSM Classic pre-qualifier. Smith finished tied 31st, missing the cut after his round of 7 over par 79. Smith's round saw him card a birdie, 11 pars, 5 bogeys, and 1 triple bogey. Last night, Jay, the Bermuda Island Basketball League resumed for yet another night of high-flying action. Only one game was played in Bermuda Island Basketball League action that produced 80 points. The veteran team, Hoop Stars, edged the young Skyforce team 41-39. Ryan Walker was the top scorer for the Hoop Stars with 9 points, while Bryce Gonzalez would be the top scorer for the Skyforce with 13 points.
Bermuda, listen up. D-Music is here exclusively for Digicel customers. Open up a world of music at your fingertips and access millions of songs from free. With D-Music, you can easily search for your favorite artists and create playlists to fit your lifestyle. Plus, you have the option to download music to your device so you can find a song for any moment, even when offline. D-Music comes with 1 gig of free data to stream and download songs without it impacting your data usage. That's 32 hours worth of music. Visit us in-store or online to see how you can get D-Music today.
It's exciting times for the Bermuda National Athletic Association, and we got a chance to speak with the president about not only the coaches, but some exciting news from Janai Parent-Chief, as well as what direction we're looking to go in 2017 as far as Carifta and other major festivals. But Jay, the sport of track and field has been in the minds of many over the years. What are some of the things you're hoping to hear from the president on the direction in which we're hoping to go?
Well, the first thing, we got the good news the other day with the coaches, and that was I think that was one of our mandates, trying to get these coaches up to speed, qualifications, but also now let's start setting ourselves attacking one of these major competitions. So whether it be Carifta, whether it be all the other festivals, which one are we really going to attack with the youth that we have, the youth that is coming? And once again, we just talked about it in cricket. We're just here a little bit of a plan of what we're really trying to focus on. Obviously, we would love for 4 years to have these athletes work towards the Olympics, but in the short term, what are we focusing on?
Well, let's find out from Donna Reyna, the president of the Bermuda National Athletic Association. Well, Donna Reyna, it's exciting news for the Bermuda National Athletic Association. Second term as president. Yeah, let's get first an overview of the 4 years, and then what's exciting and new that you've headed up this second term.
Well, the past years have been exciting. We've had London Olympics, and then we had Rio Olympics. I would have liked to have seen a few more athletes, at London and definitely at Rio, but we had what we had. The guys gave it their best, and Arancho in London. So that was exciting. We've had a couple of world championships in the middle. Again, I would have liked to have had more athletes versus, just Arancho and Tyrone, but that's fine. That's where we were. We've had some success at Carifta. We've had, I think, a lot of young athletes that have emerged. We've got Dej, we have Janai, we've got Shaquille, we've got Trey, we've got Juma. So I think our future is looking good. We've got Kairos Freitas, so our future is looking pretty good. Even with some of the young ones that I'm watching now, up here running, I think our future in track and field is pretty good. So I'm pleased.
But we recently had the graduation of the level 1 course for those first 10 coaches. Your thoughts on the fact that now we've got 10 more, whether it be school teachers, coaches, but with the ability to administer the programs in the correct manner as far as the IAAF is concerned?
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, we really have a plan in place this year. I mean, we have certified coaches previously, and we've also certified officials previously. Our goal right now is to get as many coaches certified as possible, because we do have a plan. Carifta is next year. Our plan now going forward is to start preparing our athletes from September, so that by the time Carifta rolls around, they're ready. I think previously we started January, and that was really too late. So we're starting in January. So, our goal is to have a coaching structure, which in the probably next week we will announce. We have our director of athletics and we have our event coaches who have now just signed the contract. We had the last signing today. So next week we will announce that structure. So our goal is to have as many certified coaches as we possibly can, because, we're looking at big things with our athletes, and especially starting from youth up to our elite athletes. And, if we don't start it in the school program, then, it's not going to continue. So, our goal was to have some of the teachers involved in the level 1 coaching course. We also had on the side, Devon put on a high level course for some of the teachers who couldn't attend, so that, again, they have the basics of athletics. That's our goal. If we get our PE teachers with that basis, then the athletes that come out of the school system, they should already know, and be a step ahead. So we really have a plan for the next 2 years to 3 years, and then of course the 4th year, the Olympics going forward.
Well, I sat back because I've been watching a lot of this cross country over this last few years, and this year I kind of really got excited because you have the likes of, especially for the 800 in the Caribbean cross country, or the IAAF relay championships that they have in Bahamas. You have the likes of Trey Simons, Shaquille.
I'll tell you, when I came from London, and even when I came from Carifta, I had a vision. And in honesty, when I looked at our 4x400 meter athletes, Shaquille, Trey could run an excellent, Trey Houston could run an excellent 400. Aaron Evans could run an excellent 400. And then, we're trying to fiddle with, okay, who could be that fourth? We've got Shaquille, we've got Trey, we've got Aaron. Who can be that fourth person? I had a conversation with Tyrone when we were in Rio, and Tyrone says, I could give you a good 400. And then we've got Dej, then we've got Trey Simons, and we've got Juma. So my focus right now really is seeing if we can get a 4x4 relay team, for a male 4x4 relay team for World Relays, because I believe the names that I've mentioned, I'm not too sure what Aaron is doing right now. I think he's kind of taken, a backseat a bit. But if I can get a good 4 guys together for 4x4, I think we can qualify for World Championships. So that's kind of my goal. I know before we send athletes for 4x8, they don't have a 4x8 at the World Championships. I'm thinking of having a 4x4 so that we can have a World Championship team.
Well, that's kind of what I was licking my lips at, although I was on the 800 meter tip, I guess, looking at the longer range. But because you are making me aware that we don't have 800 at the World Championships, you want to make sure that we're on the world stage globally, not just in the region, because region, I think that if those guys done 800, we would do rather well. But 400, we can do even better.
And I'm only talking about a 4x4 team. I mean, when I look at World Championships this year, I'm looking at, Tyrone's still going to be there. Hopefully Trey qualifies again for World Championships. There's no reason he shouldn't. Shaquille definitely should be qualifying for World Championships. I think Dej, has a chance of qualifying. Janai Parenchip, definitely. So for me, if we can get at least 6 athletes qualified, plus qualifying a relay team, that will be a big deal for Bermuda, taking, athletes, at least 12 athletes to the World Championships this year in London. So, that's kind of my goal. That's my vision. I'm really hoping that we can pull it off, because I think we have the athletes to do it. And now we have the coaches to assist us in getting there.
Well, it's also exciting times for the BNNAA with signing day for some of our athletes, and none other than Janai has committed. But your thoughts on what one, because you had to go through it, when it's that time, when you're picking that college or that university that you're going to go to, what are some of the things you looked into, and what are some of the things you're expecting people like Janai, and for that matter, Kyra, when it's her turn, and many others? My
main concern with our athletes choosing a university is, number one, they look to make sure that they have good coaches in their events. The second thing is that it's not a university that are looking for their athletes to do every and anything. Because what happens, and I can give you several examples of some of the athletes that we've sent them to university. They've had to run the 4, the 8, the 15, the 3,000, the 5,000, and it burnt them out. They hate athletics probably to this day. And especially when I look at a Janai, my vision for Janai is, as I said, World Championships. My vision for Janai is definitely 2020 for the Olympics. But if he goes to a school where he's doing high jump, long jump, 400 meters, relays, and so on and so forth, he's not going to reach that goal. So, my main goal with all of them is that, number one, they go to a school that is specific to their event. They have top athletes coming out of that school in that event. They have top coaches in that event at that school. And then the second is that the coaches don't run them to death. I look at Shaquille, and I've had several conversations with his coaches, and I've said, because I remember last year at the indoor championships, Shaquille ran every race. He had 4 and 8 back to back, and I remember I sent the email to the coach. I said, "Okay, what's happening? I'm looking at Shaquille for the Olympics," and they said, "We just did that, but we'll pull back." So we try to stay in contact with these coaches to let them know what our vision and our goal and our objective is for that athlete. I understand, and I could tell you, in university, there's coaches want points. I had to run 8, I had to run 50, and I had to run 4x4. They want points, but at least that was still in the realm of what I do. When I looked at even Janai last year, he was doing long jump, he was doing triple jump, he was doing high jump. Then I saw he was running a relay, and I'm thinking, oh my God, we are going to burn this boy out. And his specialty is high jump. He is a world-class high jumper. So that's what I hope between them, the athlete, the parent, the coach, who's working with them. That's what I hope they're focusing on. Let's make sure that we get them in the right university. Because right now, Janai's got offers, as you say, up the yang. So he should be able to pick and choose and end up picking the right school that is perfect for him.
Well, last year was earlier this year was the first area permit meet here on our shores. I think we could all say it was a success. Mm-hmm. And obviously, NACAC and the region want to do more, and they've put on more. Mm-hmm. What are you looking or hoping to accomplish this time in our area permit meet, and what are you hoping that or expecting from the business sector on Ireland to get involved?
Mm-hmm. Well, this year we're starting our planning way earlier than we did last year. Last year it was our first year. We got notification from the IAAF that we were given funds for the event, but that wasn't until December. This year we're starting. We have our first meeting next week. So we're starting early. We're already receiving emails from agents, from coaches who want to bring their athletes on, because of course now that our date is now moved into May, everyone knows the weather is going to be much better. So we're looking at really reaching out to sponsors in the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, to see if we can get sponsors on board. I know it has now become a circuit in the Caribbean. As you see, there are several area permit meets this year. So they're looking at a circuit. They're also looking at putting more money into all of these area permit meets, because the goal of our region is, let's showcase our athletes in the Caribbean. Let's make money off of our athletes in the Caribbean versus sending them off to Europe. Europe's making money. The stadiums are full, and we're getting nothing from it. Yes, we groom these athletes. So the goal in our region is to have our own circuit, but we all realize that we have to up the money. We've got to offer prizes that are equal or even better than what they're getting in Europe. So I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it, especially with our date. I know it may clash with America's Cup. It is May 27th, but we're not concerned about that. We want to make this an even bigger event, and we also want to have standards. We're looking at having standards to say, okay, this is the only athlete that we're going to invite for the 100 meters. If you're running 12.8, we don't want you in our meet. So, we're setting our own criteria also. So we're excited. We're looking forward to May 27th.
in conjunction with that, will we be looking to have our national championships before this as a qualifier or after?
Well, the national championships will be after. Our national championships are usually held in June. The interesting thing with that is when we submit our report to the IAAF at the beginning of the year, we have to state in that report the date of our championships, and we cannot change it. So the championships will be after the permit meet. Yes.
So going forward, we have exciting times because we're all looking at Tokyo as the finish line kind of thing. But as president, what drives you and obviously your committee, because you're at the steering wheel, but it's a lot of people helping to push the vehicle along. What's driving you?
I think what's driving me this year, in all honesty, is our young athletes. I mean, basically what we've done, and this is the board with all of our coaches, we're putting in a different plan this year for Carifta. We're starting very, very early. We were supposed to have our first meet in October, which is unprecedented in Bermuda. We've never had a meet in October. Unfortunately, the weather didn't cooperate, so we had to cancel the event. But our goal right now is to prepare our athletes for the Carifta Games, World Youth Championships, Junior Championships, and so on and so forth. By starting early, we're getting ready to have 2 camps. We're having a middle distance camp, and we're having a power camp. So the middle distance camp is in 2 weeks' time, and then the power camp, which is the throws and the sprints, is the following week. We're going over to the island. We're bringing in speakers, and so we're having people like Aaron Evans coming in speaking to the middle distance. We're trying to get one of our past sprinters to come in and speak to the power and possibly a thrower. So our goal right now, our vision is let's work on our youth. Our elite athletes. Arancha is kind of going into retirement. Cheyenne's kind of packed it up for now. I don't know whether she's going to come back. Aaron's kind of on a different path. Tyrone, he's still there. I don't know how long he's going to be there. Trey to me is still one of our beginning elite athletes. So, I definitely see him for 2020. So my goal right now is let's look at our youth, our Carifta age athletes, and then the athletes that are in university now, so that we can start prepping them for 2020. So as I said, what's driving me right now is looking at the number. What I did at the beginning of, I think it was May, we sent out an email to all of the coaches asking them, send us a list of every single athlete that you train that are in the Carifta age. We came back with 80 athletes. So for me, if we have 80 athletes to start off with, when we go to Carifta, it shouldn't be 6. And so, all of these athletes are going to be involved in all of these programs. And that's one of the reasons we're putting in the event coaches, because what we want to happen is throughout the year, if it's once a week, twice a week, we want these event coaches. If you're a middle distance coach, we want you to work with all of the middle distance runners from all of the different clubs at least once a week. Technique, so on and so forth, jumpers, sprinters, the same thing. So we really have a plan going forward of trying to prepare these athletes now and get them ready for Carifta. So what's driving me right now is the youth.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
And we look forward to the announcement next week of the coaches in place. And I think it's a great start. And I think other sports in Bermuda can take a bit of that and kind of run with it as well, and kind of give you a call to find out. One last thing, to see the Olympic names on the wall, your thoughts on just having something that we can look at to remember people that's come before all of us and have been to the biggest festival globally. Just seeing it there, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I think it's wonderful. I think it's exciting. I always think it's a good thing to recognize our athletes in any and every sport. As you said, the Olympics is the pinnacle. Unfortunately for me, I missed it by a couple of seconds. When I was trying for Seoul, Korea. But to see the athletes recognized, I think, it's very important. And that's interesting because we're looking at having one of our fundraisers is a reunion of all of the Carifta athletes. So what we're trying to do is get all of the CRIFT athletes here, you know, and again, acknowledge them, you know, acknowledge the medalists, you know, I mean, so to me, it's always a great thing to recognize your athletes. In a country as small as Bermuda is, that's something that should be easy. We don't send 50 athletes to the Olympics. You know, we send a few athletes, so why not have their name engraved, you know, on a plaque as you enter the National Stadium? I think that was a wonderful idea. I know, you know, there's been some controversy here and there, but I still think no matter what, it was a great idea, and any athletes whose names on this plaque should feel very, very proud to know that they represented Bermuda.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to that announcement next week.
Yes, yes.
Open up a world of music at your fingertips and access millions of songs from free with D-Music, exclusively from Digicel. With D-Music, you can stream and download songs and create playlists of your favorite artists to fit your lifestyle. Whether you're working out at the gym, getting ready for a Friday night, or just chilling at home, D-Music comes with 1 gig of free data to stream and download songs without it impacting your data usage. That's 32 hours worth of music. Visit us in-store or online to see how you can get D-Music today.
Well, that's it, Jay. Another Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats. You heard about several athletes competing overseas, and then you just heard from Donna Reyna, the president of the Bermuda National Athletic Association. Any parting words?
Yeah, I'm about to take you on tonight on this field. So, Earl, to the next show, I might see you there.
You may need St. John's ambulance. Have a good night.